All right, team. It is Tuesday, December 11th, and this is a kind of an extra special lunch and learn because we had already planned on my part of the team, we had already planned on having Becky do a vision board training with us so that we would really be ready to launch into 2019 with our goals a little more clear and our vision for what we want for that year really well set. And then we decided to do the booking blitz on this day. But we thought that it would just be that it would be great to still keep the vision board training on today because it's a whole lot harder to pick up the phone and do the jobs that we don't want to do when we don't really know why we're doing it. So Becky was agreeable to just doing the lunch and learn for the whole organization today so that our whole organization is going to be crystal clear on our vision for 2019. And at the conclusion, we will be so much more motivated, not just to make booking calls today, but every day, the way that Kay Demmer suggested in her video, which is why Kay Demmer doesn't really need a booking blitz. She makes her booking calls and contacts every single day so that she's always booked. It was actually hard to get her to do a video today because of all of the stuff she already had on her calendar for today. So same with Jackie Riganti, and then you see them at the top of the list. And Mary Grace had to be at the crack of dawn. So let's talk vision for 2019, and I'm going to turn it over to Division Leader Becky Rojas.
Hey, thank you, Michelle, so much, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some great, useful information with you guys. So if you're in a place where you can be off mute and you're not shuffling around, this is going to be interactive. Share as you can share. You can internally think about some of these things, but a pen and a piece of paper are really, really important. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you're going to write this down. So this is the whole part of vision boarding and kind of vision. You can have tons of goals. Like we can have a goal to book 10 days straight in the first part of the year. But if we don't know why we're doing it or where it's going to take us, then we're not going to have the drive or the stamina to withhold all the no's or to push through when the kids decide to derail your day or if there's a surprise that happens. So hopefully this will give you some clarity, because clarity really does give you the ability to move forward and reach those goals that you're looking for. So that's the whole point of what we're doing today. So I want you to take a piece of paper and just draw a line down the middle, okay? Just draw a line down the middle. And on one side, and you can write down the instructions or not, I want you to write down attributes or things that you would say if you asked your friends or family or coworkers to describe you or what they think of you, what are some things that they would write? What would they say? And on the other side, opposite to that, who you really are. So, you know, we always put this space out there of who we are. So write down on one side, what would you think your friends, family, or coworkers think you are? And right on the other side, who you really are in your core and what do you want to represent? And I know I can't see everybody, but the people that I can see, when I see y'all kind of stop writing, then I'll give y'all. I know this was a hard one for me because I think there's very few people in my life that truly know the open book Becky. So this was a good part of the vision boarding. Okay. And kind of look at your list on either side There's some correlations, right? I'll just share one. People always see me as a very confident person. I am far, far from that. So it's understanding the difference in the two and how they come together in your vision, okay? So I want you to take I want you to make a list of 3 to 5 things. So look at both sides of who your family, friends, coworkers think you are and who you are in the core. And I want you to write down 3 to 5 things. They could be groups of words or individual words that represent you to the core and what you would like to bring to the table in 2019. I forgot to give the disclaimer that we're going to go a little bit deep today, and not everything you're going to be able to process in this 30-minute time frame. But the point of it is to get your mind kind of going. You may not agree with some of the words that I might say in a little bit, but just know I come from a place of love and heart, and hopefully that will help you take this list and move forward. And if anybody wants to share any of their attributes, this is a time where you can share when you're done writing.
Well, initially, the first thing where we split the page, I wrote that most people would probably describe me as extroverted and very social and stuff, which in the proper environment, I definitely am. But in reality, I am definitely a little more introverted and a homebody, which is why, like, at convention, things like a place like convention, at the end of the day, like, I need to retreat to the room and have some quiet time and stuff and not have a lot of questions being asked of me and stuff like that, just because I have to, shut it down to get back out there the next day. So, and then the other words I wrote, I think would be, accurate to both: energetic, a go-getter, driven, things like that. Those are still all accurate, but I think that the extrovert versus introvert is the part that is probably wouldn't match as much.
That's kind of the same thing for me, really. People think that I'm very outgoing and I'm really like quiet time. I really prefer to be by myself. I just know that I have to have this personality to do what I do. And so I kind of turn it on when I go out. I would like to have it naturally. I don't. And I've gotten a whole lot better. I used to get sick on my stomach pulling up the doors when I was going to do shows because I am so, I used to say shy, but I wouldn't say I'm shy, but I'm uncomfortable in front of people, and presenting makes me very uncomfortable. But I've found myself in that position all of my life. It's never been a place of comfort for me. So I wrote that on my attributes, where people think that I'm outgoing and unafraid, which is really not true. I'm really not as outgoing as I appear. I do the outgoing with my work, but I can stay in the house all day and never answer the phone, never turn the TV on.
Love that. I think knowing one big fact, that our brain has a lot more power than I think us in direct sales were a little bit more in tune with this fact, but where we take our brain and the message that we play over and over in our head plays a part in what we do every day, how our interactions are with people. But that transitions into how we kind of get things done in our business, how we approach the ups, the downs, the everything. You know, if you're truly an introvert, show that. Be that person and show, because you're going to be at your shows and you're going to find introverts that are very good at doing what we do. So just know that being true to your core and yourself, and having that shown really does attract a wide variety of people to your business. One of the biggest things that I have on mine is being powerful and not perfect. Being a recovering perfectionist, that's a powerful role. Like, you can do great things without being perfect. Anybody else wanted to share?
Some of the things that I shared was that people see me as driven and organized and a go-getter, where in actuality I feel like that I am a total hot mess and just like off the cuff thinker, and not good at just being organized and having a plan. Like, it's just a quick instinct type of thing for me.
So do you function better without parameters, when you can just go in?
Yes, yeah. And definitely like a last minute thinker and working well under pressure. Those kinds of things, just because I need that like quick thinking, like just do it, just dive in and just go, rather than having like I like to have my ducks in a row, but at the same time, like, that's just not, like, I can't see that. I just have to do it. Like, I just have to dive in and just do it.
I don't have the visual right now, but I think probably all of us have seen it on Mary Grace's page or the Shine On page or just on Facebook. The picture of the iceberg sticking out of the water. Are y'all familiar with it?
Okay. Yes.
Only the smallest part of the iceberg is out of the water, and everything underneath is all the legwork, all of the ups, the downs, the things that happen, and what you see out on social media. And a lot of times what we share with other people only see your ups, and that plays a part in how we see our own vision. It can cloud it. It can also make us, I guess, doubt, you know, what that original vision was. What were we going for? So just keep that in mind when you're going through obstacles, good or bad. Make sure you're grabbing people along and helping each other out, because if you've been there, somebody else has been there too. I know there's some other people that want to share. After the recording, we will open it up to do some more sharing. I just want to get on to the next question. I want to leave anybody out, and I know some of y'all have a tight lunch schedule. Here is one. What is your purpose? Write this down. What is your purpose in life? What are you here to do?
Becky, can you say that again?
What is your purpose here on earth? What is your purpose in life? I told y'all we were going to get a little bit personal today. And feel free to share once you finished writing.
Okay. My purpose in life is to be a mom. That's my first priority. And my second, I'll say, purpose of life is to see people succeed. I love to see people be happy, and if I can make them happy, I'm trying to do that, or to succeed. I love to spend my time helping people do what they want to do and be good at it.
Awesome.
I think that's my purpose in life. Those two things.
Love it. Love it.
That is so fun. That is almost exactly what I wrote, Summer. I have to be a great mom and wife as number one, to help others reach greatness as number two, and to experience lots of joy as number three.
We could be best friends, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. You know what? We should work together.
Right.
And don't feel like you have to share. I just know that, I did mention before things that I know this call is being recorded. If you're listening on the replay or you're listening live, things that are shared within this Zoom call should stay within the Zoom call. We are here to build each other up and create a network where we can build upon each one another. Okay. How about this one, guys? Who do you want to be in 2019? While y'all are writing, I'm gonna share my purpose. My purpose is to be the light of those around me. And I think that kind of transposes into different things, whether that's my children and help guiding them, my friends, to be a shoulder to lean on, whatever it might be, just to be the light in this world that's sometimes very dark. And who would I want to be in 2019? Who you want to be. And it could be phrases or a sentence, like there's not any rules. I like a box for rules to be in. And when I was going through this course, I kept on asking questions. And I quickly learned, like, you just, whatever's popping in your head, write it down.
I put that I want to be a great role model, and that be for my children, for my team, for my family. I think that's who I want to be in 2019, a great role model.
I keep coming back to the word joy. I want to spread the joy. I want to have joy to my family, to friends, to the team, and just even people I encounter. I admire that when there's this girl, she's actually on our team, and I originally know her as Belinda's friend from the gym. And she just always is so joyful, and it's such a great person to be around, and that's what people think of. And I don't know that that's how people think of me, but I would like to work on that.
I put that almost identical thing. I said, I want to share more joy, and I want to be confident where I am and have purpose in the place that I am, whether it's my job, whether it's this, whether it's being a mom, whether it's being a wife, but to have just 100% confidence and purpose in the place that I am right now.
Less stress, more joy.
So good.
A year from today, finish the sentence in a group of phrases or a sentence. In a year from today, I will be most proud of. I love watching y'all work. This is so cool. I've done a bajillion vision board things before, and this, I'm giving you a very abbreviated part of the first part of this workshop. It was really, really good. You're getting all the questions, but you'll probably want to dive in a little bit deeper to some of these things before you start your board. Did anybody want to share what they, in a year, what they would be most proud of? If not, no worries.
As it relates to the business, I want to be most proud of my team members. Myself, in terms of my ability to lead. One of the things I wrote on the question before was to be a smarter, stronger leader. So if I can be a smarter, stronger leader, I'm sure that my team will succeed and I will be most proud of them. That's outside of family and other things that I do.
I love that.
I wrote that I lived the year with focus on joy and gratitude, and that it brought me great successes personally and professionally.
Love it. You summed that up real good. I think Michelle thinks on the fly really good as well. Okay.
I do. You have to.
I'm going to tie in all these questions to the end result, I promise. We're just digging in here.
Okay.
Okay, so did anybody else want to share before I move on? No? Here, you're going to have another 2-column, but you can do it continuously on wherever you are, okay? So I want you to write down at 3 habits. You can do 3 to 5, but 3 habits that you want to start doing in 2019, and 3 habits you're going to stop doing in 2019. And while y'all are writing, I want to tell you, if you're a yes person out there, how do you know if you're a yes person? When the PTA calls and they need cookies, and you have 1,800 things going on and you're behind at work, and you're supposed to go on date night tonight and they need the cookies tomorrow, you're like, sure, I'll get you some cookies. Or if you don't think about saying the word yes or no, being asked a question. So a perfect example, your best friends are like, hey, we're gonna go out Friday. Do you wanna go with us? Your automatic is yes, right? You wanna spend time with them, but you have no idea in that 2 seconds what you have going on Friday. It is really important that you understand what you say yes to and what you say no to are equally important. You know, you should be saying yes to these habits you want to start and saying no to the habits you want to stop. I'm not a yes person. I've been made very clear by my children that I'm the no parent. The first thing that comes out of my mouth is no. I don't even think, oh, well, you know, maybe that would be okay. No, I'm the no. So where a lot of people are yeses, especially women, like we tend to be people pleasers. We want lots of friends. I've become the no person because I need to protect my bubble. And so part of what I'm doing is having a year of yeses versus a year of no's. Try it. If you're a yes person, then try saying no, and vice versa. And you're gonna see what you say yes to and what you say no to. In your business, in life, in relationships, play a big part in what's gonna play out on your vision board. Did anybody want to share anything?
Okay, I'll say my 3 starts. One may be silly, but it's something I would like to start.
Nothing
I want to
silly.
start cooking more. We eat out a lot because I hate cooking. And I need to learn to be more frugal. I'm a very much a spender. I like to go shopping. And I like to try to do that less. And I am a yes person. And I need to start saying no more. And my family has told me that for years. Because I'm a people pleaser. And I like to do what I can for everybody. But I have to learn to take time for myself and say no. And I know that's gonna be hard for me, but I'm gonna try that. So that's my 3 habits to start doing.
There's really good verbiage that I learned because I used to be a yes person, so I understand kind of where you're coming from. This is the verbiage. So and so invited you to a party this weekend, or so and so needs this at school. Whatever the question might be, that is so sweet, Summer, for you to think of me and include me. Let me take a look, and I'll let you know by Thursday if I can make it or not. You've given yourself a second to, reflect and figure out, what does your schedule look like realistically? Is it going to bring you joy to go there on Friday, right? Is it just going to bring somebody else joy, or is it going to bring your joy? And so those words, instead of saying yes all the time, gives me an opportunity to just take a look and really assess what I'm being asked. I don't know if that would help or not, but
it may. Try it and see.
Okay. So these are, we'll break it down. I want you to write a list of 5 things. And just remember, this isn't just related to business. I know that we're all in the business together, but this is, your business and personal life are intertwined. So think about this as you're writing your list. Write down 5 things that you want to do in 2019. I'll give you it. I'll share mine when y'all share yours.
Becky, what is this one again? I'm sorry, because I thought of something else I wanted to stop, and then I missed what you said. I'm sorry.
5 things you want to do in 2019. And your second list of 5 is going to be 5 things you want to have in 2019. I love all the interaction. People are doing good over there, working. And once again, when you're done writing, you can share if you'd like. So when you're thinking about your wants and your haves, think about your 5 core values or things that you want to instill in 2019, and who do you want to be in 2019. Here's something that pretty much hit home for me. I'm huge into vision, but I didn't realize how much of a dreamer versus vision that I sometimes had. When making a vision board, when you're looking at 2019, nothing should be on there that you're not willing to work for. That might kind of hurt because sometimes we want a lot of things, but are we willing or able to, at the moment, work for it? I might want to travel Europe on a 3-week vacation, but I'm not going to be able to meet all my goals and do that realistically in 2019. So that's something that can stay on a life goal for me, but really shouldn't be on your 2019 vision board. Just because it's not on your vision board does not mean that you're not saying no to it. You're not saying, no, I'm not going to work towards that. There's just some other things in the line first that need to be done to meet those goals. So if you've ever made a vision board and looked at it at the end of the year and really felt like, I just didn't do enough, then if you would go back and look at those, it would probably be that you had some things on there that either you couldn't time-wise work towards, or you weren't willing to put the time in, right? If I'm gonna put that I wanna earn 2 trips in 2019, we all know what that calendar has to look like. What is working with those new recruits going to look like? Do I have that time in my season that I'm in right now, right? Because looking at the gallery view, we're all different ages. Some of our children are out of the house. Some of our children are very little. Some of us might not have children. So our season is very different. So keep that in mind when you're writing down your 5 things. And if anybody would like to share, they can. Hopefully I didn't throat punch anybody with that little comment there.
Not at all. I think for me, I have to really be specific in some of these things, because I can be a very all or nothing person. So like either I'm going to the gym 6 days a week or I miss 2 weeks. I can't just seem to manage to go 4 days a week, which would be very good amount of times to go. So like gym 4 times a week, no matter what, is something I put on here because I either go too much or I go not enough, whereas that's a nice middle ground. I did put this is for the do, I want to do 2 shows a week no matter what. And that way, I'm consistent the whole entire year. I put some kid-related things on here. Matthew's going to be playing college lacrosse next year, so I want to go to a lot of his games. He's going to be in Maryland and Pennsylvania, totally drivable places. This will be, I'm on my last 3 years with Teresa at home, so I want to do some of the stuff for her and stuff like that. I only have 4 on the haves. So I put family time, especially in the summer. I want to have a growing and happy team. I want to have 20 new personal team members, and I want to have joy in my heart every day. I still need 1 more.
So when you think about, I know a lot of us have talked about joy. I want you to think about and this isn't on here, but definitely something to reflect on before you do your board. Think about what are your energy vampires and what takes away your joy. And those are going to be some of the things that you want to say no from. There might be people in your life that are supposed to be very close to you that really do take away a lot of your energy. So you have to know how to create boundaries and know that that's okay. You're not a bad person. You're not doing wrong by the people around you. But I think when we are joyful, we really do make this world a better place. So what are you going to say yes to this year? I know some of y'all can't come off mute.
Yeah.
But what are you going to say yes to this year? After looking at all those questions, what's really important to you and what you want to represent, what are you going to say yes to? Yes, Elizabeth?
I am going to try to find more balance with work, my business, and my children. Because sometimes I struggle with, I know I'm going to work to provide for them, but sometimes I feel like I'm taking away that time that I know I can't like get back. So I have to find like a balance for the three.
Mine is very similar to, is that to set boundaries and follow them. And that way I can be more present with my kids when I need to be. And if that means saying no to work and making more money in the present to make sure that I'm spending more time with the kids long term, that like those are things that I need to carve out.
Yeah, Jen, when my kids were your kids' age, I was a lot stricter about what time I worked. You know, they still did naps, and I, like my machine said, the best time to reach me is from 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday and 7 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. That wasn't the only time I answered the phone, but it was a great time because that's when they took their, you know, they went to bed early, and I found Sunday nights was a great time to get people. So I always was in my office 7 to 9 on Sundays, and I always answered the phone from 2 to 4. And people really got used to it. Like 2 o'clock, my phone would start ringing because it was on my machine. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I parented my little kids before Facebook. So, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a huge distraction and something that keeps all of us distracted. I think that would be actually some of my would be maybe to control some of that because you get sucked into it. But that way, you know, when they're at their prime playtime, you are working, you know, and you can enjoy that more so that when you do need to go in the office and shut the door, you don't feel bad about it. I told you, we're the before and after.
Like
I say all the time that Trent and Jennifer and me and Anthony are like a before and after photo. But that helped me a lot.
I think you were talking about boundaries are so important, like you know, having time carved out for business and having time carved out for husband time and having time carved out for kid time. And even if you have something that you have to get done, find a way to do it where it doesn't impact your family time. Because going back to, you know, what we were talking about, joy, if you watched any of the week-long stuff on former President Bush, everybody talked about his family time and his love for family. If a man can run the country, and when he passes away, his family still knew that they were number one and he was always present for them, that puts in perspective for us. We all are running our own little mini countries in our houses, right? We have our responsibilities. But that time that you know, you have to find a good balance. And I don't know what's the right or wrong because everybody's season is different. So if you don't know how to do it, if you're at a loss, go find somebody that you feel is really good at it and reach out to them and ask them what they do. And you'll be surprised at your answers, I promise. Because they might go, whoosh, I just do whatever. I love it.
I thought Mary Grace was joking the first time that she said, a few people said that they think you have good life-work balance and would like you to present that at the leader retreat. I laughed, and then there was silence, and she goes, so will you do that? I was like, oh, you're serious? Like, I for real thought she was kidding. but apparently she wasn't. And I do things, and Jen, that was one of the tips I shared at that, along with lots of others. And I can actually dig that out because I kind of addressed it from all the stages because I've done this from having one newborn through having old teenagers. So, and, then I look to people like Mary Grace for the next step, when it'll be, transitioning back to an empty nester or whatever. But even just last night, I was in the office and I did have a few things to do. And then all of a sudden I realized that Anthony, Matthew, and Teresa were all right down the hall here watching, like sitting in the living room and talking and having a snack. And I did it dramatic to be funny, but like I was like, oh my God, they're all up here at the same time. So like I went running in and I jumped on the couch. I'm like, what am I missing? What are we doing? Are we having family time? And they were like, well, it was just that they just happened to all sit down together. And I totally walked away from what I was doing. It turned out it was only 15 minutes. Matthew just wanted to eat some popcorn and watch 10 minutes of the Ranger game. And then he went on to his other thing. And Anthony went to bed. So 15 minutes later, I was back in my office. But honestly, if it was an hour, I would have sat there an hour because I didn't want to miss that, even though, I ended up staying up later than I wanted to because of it. But whatever. I took a little snooze this morning.
But you're a night owl, right, Michelle?
I'm whatever I have to be. I'm not really a night owl by nature, but I made myself be a night owl to get things done. Because I can also be an early morning person. I just am whatever I'm forced to be.
So what do you do from here, guys? I want you to really think about these questions and dig into what are you saying yes to in 2019 and put it into, start cutting out stuff, start, get a picture, start putting pictures, words, whatever speaks to you. I had a lot of pictures. Some people had a ton of words. Look, I even got a shine on.
I know, look at that.
I want more friend time. I want to bloom where I'm planted. That was Jen alluded to that. How about taking the bull by the horns? This is a mental thing for me. And so putting it into words or cut everything out, place it, go back to your list, make sure you covered everything. Nothing should be on here that you don't want to work for. And it's okay to say no to something right now. But don't say no to yourself, okay? And this should be posted. It can be any size. If you want it to be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, totally up to you. And it needs to be somewhere where you can see it every day. So if you work outside the home, then it might need to be like near your makeup mirror in the morning. It might need to be over a door. I sit down on my desk every day, so I have it where when I look up from my desk, I can see this every day. And it's a constant reminder and a little motivator. What am I going to do? Now, one of the questions I had for her, because I like my little box and I want everything to fit in my box. I'm like, well, should you be using this as a daily reminder? Is it supposed to circle back to it and see, where we are? I did leave room to add on here. So, revisit this when you do your goals on a monthly basis and kind of reassess your team and reassess yourself. Be able to look and see, are you on track? If you're not on track to some of the things that you really want, that's when you go back and say, am I going to work for this? Is this what I'm going to do? And that's what your upline is there for too. Make sure you're sharing this information with them, because accountability, as much as we say we don't want it, we really have to have it. Otherwise, we're just kind of floating in the wind. And then we realized it's been 4 weeks and we haven't done booking calls, and what the heck are we going to do? So use this, have it visual, and share this training with your team, so that right alongside, I think it was Phyllis and Elizabeth both said that they wanted to really focus on this, on the team. So share this with your team. I don't know if anybody want to add or say anything, ask any questions.
Well, there's so many ways to do a vision board now. Like you can do it like Becky did the old-fashioned way with the magazines and stuff. You can do a digital one where you just kind of set up that kind of stuff in print, or print from digital and then put it on. If you're getting a Belinda Ellsworth planner, apparently there's a 2-page open like centerfold type of spread that you can do it in there. So I will say that I made one for 2017. And so many of the things on there happened. And then I didn't make one at the beginning of this year. And business-wise, it wasn't nearly as good of a year than the year before. And then that extended into some personal. It was so interesting to me that on my 2017 one, I put like a picture of a beach house, like a waterfront house. And that didn't happen that year, but it's actually the process for it started that year because we did start looking at houses at the end of last year, but not really with the purpose of moving on the water. And then I eventually moved on the water. So of course that was the highlight of this past year. So I mean, no way mean that 2018 was a bad year because it most certainly was not. But I didn't have as clear of a vision as I did the year before with my vision board. And I do feel that it affected it. Just like the one time in my whole direct sales career that I didn't track my trip was the year, and it wasn't here at Park Lane, was the year I didn't get the level of the trip that I wanted. And it wasn't by a lot either. That was really stupid. So the things that we watch for and pay attention for and track are the things that we generally get. So this was a really great exercise. And thank you, Becky, for putting this together for us and leading us through this awesome training.
Thank you, guys. And sorry it ran a little bit long, but I think it's really important to talk through some of these things. And hopefully whether you were here live or listening on the replay, you'll definitely get some value. And we are totally ready to rock 2019. Just watch us.
That's right. Love it. Keep these notes somewhere after you make your board, or tape it to the back of the board so that you can look back on it when you take it off the wall at the end of next year.
Thank you, Becky.
Thanks, Becky.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Love you.